Moving on to the last subject of the week. This again is definitely something that has been a major topic in the Black community recently, and that is this silly ass chick, Iggy Azalea. So, for those of you who are not familiar, Iggy Azalea is back out for some reason and has recently been accused of blackfishing. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with the term blackfishing, it basically refers to someone who is using Black culture, and in most cases, they are changing their skin tone or changing their appearance in order to appear or perpetuate what is traditionally considered how Black women or Black men may look when they are not of the Black race. Iggy has recently released a video where, to be honest with you, I didn't even realize it was her when I first saw it. Like, that's how ridiculous she went with this entire situation. But anyway, we are definitely going to speak on the matter. And for those of you who are unfamiliar, please go online and take a look at the video, because I do think that looking at the video does play an important part into understanding what we're discussing in our question. But so the official question is, does Iggy Azalea's presence in hip hop shed light on how problematic cultural appropriation really is? So I'm going to go ahead and throw this to E-Man to start us off. What say you, sir?
Okay, man. Oh man. Oh man. Oh man. Man. Oh man. Oh man. So before I get into it, so I was never an Iggy Azalea fan. I never knew who she was. Like, I ain't gonna lie. Like, I'm gonna just put that. I didn't know who she was until I found out T.I. Sonder, and then I found out she was a European white woman with a big booty and whatnot. And this is not taking nothing against, Australian women, because I have a really cool. I have a bunch of Australian friends, by the way, and whatnot. So, which is, it's a very beautiful place, by the way. But yeah, and what's so crazy about this, I saw both interviews when they did it on the Breakfast Club, Iggy side and T.I. side. So first thing first, I gotta put this out there. T.I., you fucked up and whatnot, signing somebody who couldn't, not just because she couldn't rap, but the simple fact is she ain't writing her own music, But then she, she's protecting herself, saying, this is what I do. But I was like, nah. So, I mean, I can go really in on Iggy Azalea. Like, I can, and I'm holding back not to go in, but I'm probably going to go in as I keep continuing my thoughts. But, man, what's the easiest way to say, you don't want to call her a hoe because she's not a hoe, you don't want to disrespect her, but you want to make sure you get something out at the end of the day. But you want to make sure it becomes very clear. What is that word? What's that word you like to say so much?
I'm not sure what you mean. Which one? I say a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I'm looking for that word. Starts with a B, ends with T, And
what are you referring to specifically?
Oh no, I was waiting for you to say bullshit, but you took too long to say it though. But yeah.
See? I was not catching on to what you were talking about. Why? When you said start with a B, I was thinking basura, because y'all know I say that
too. I was like, oh, you're gonna say basura.
But then you threw me when you said ends with a T, because basura doesn't end in a T. So I was like, wait, what? Yes, bullshit, sir.
Thank you. So yeah, all this is just basically bullshit, you know. So I don't even know what to say with Lee. I'll tell everyone like this, right? You know, like if you listen to the early episodes, and I told everybody, I was a big fan of Wild 'N Out. I'm not as big of a fan anymore, but when Iggy went like to Wild 'N Out and whatnot, they actually had like the whole cast had to make sure they didn't go in on her, like like it was that bad, like the cast said, like like Nick told us, like they had to make sure they didn't say anything that had to do with her being a white rapper who's Australian, who don't write her own rhymes, and like it just went from there, and if they said anything they wasn't supposed to say, they would have lost their job, because they all know Iggy wasn't a great rapper at all. I don't think she's that great, but she's just eye candy and whatnot. So towards what's going on with her, it's straight bullshit. And I think because of her stature and how people see her, and many people are really into her music, they're trying to like, I got your back and I'm going to protect you. But we all know, like, you're trying to get down with the get down. Like, nothing's not going to change, and I'm not disrespecting women, and I'm not disrespecting those who are Australian. I'm just saying, like, Iggy is in a lane that she shouldn't be in, and now she's trying to like fight for it and be like, this is me, but knowing that's not you, hun. Like, it's just not you. I'd rather you just pack everything up and just go fire yourself for being a very shitty rapper. Like, just go fire yourself. And yes, I said that too. She needs to go fire herself. She needs to go put in her pink slip and just tell the world, I was never cut out for it. And you know what I was going to do? I was going to applaud and be like, yes, boo-boo. Yes, boo-boo. You are not good at this. All right. You're just not good. So, but.
You are not good at this.
Yes. A round of applause. And you know me, when someone knows, when you're not good at certain things, I'm going to have your back and whatnot. I even told the director of Mortal Kombat to fire himself. I don't know if he did it yet, but I'll make sure he does do it and whatnot, because that shitty sequel he thinks he's about to put out, I'm like, you better go sit yourself in the corner. And I think that's what Iggy needs to do. Sit yourself in the corner, young lady. Think about what you're doing. Think about, what you're doing is right, because I know clearly what you're doing is totally wrong and whatnot. And whoever's encouraging her to do all this, you just want to be the fuel in the fire and whatnot, She needs to just pack it up and just go and just start somewhere new. I don't know. Be a country singer. Be like Taylor Swift and whatnot. You got the look and everything. Start out with country. I feel like everyone I don't know too many, Australian country singers, but hey, I feel like that might be your lane right there. I'm hyping. Yeah, that could be your lane. I don't know.
That
I'm
just sounds so funny to me for some reason.
I'm just saying,
That'd be the lane right there, though.
That could be her lane. But this whole rapping thing, nah, boo boo, nah. Nah, boo boo. Nah. I'm just like, they got you over here feeling like This is what I feel. I think this is what T.I. did, right? I feel like when T.I. met, Iggy and whatnot, he made her watch Baby Kids and whatnot, and just felt like, you know what? That can be you right there. You know what? And I'm like, no, nigga, no. You just, no. So, I don't know. I feel like they're trying to get her to do the whole Gwen Stefani thing. And she kind of like fell out also too. So, I don't know, man. See, I blame people like T.I. and others who want to do something different, knowing you're going to fuck up and make a mistake, So, yeah. So, Iggy, as my final thought, all I'm going to say is Australian country singer, and go I'll put it out here. If you and Taylor Swift going to make a good country song together, I'm going to listen to it. And I'll tell you this, I might actually promote it, and whatnot. You might even have a new fan if you go over there and do country, I'm gonna just leave it as that, because we know she ain't supposed to be doing this whole rapping thing and whatnot,
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for sharing, sir. Mr. PAT, we're going to go ahead and throw it to you. What say you, sir?
All right, Miss Iggy Azalea. So I'll be real. I've never really heard her music. I've heard the name. I'm aware of who she is, but I've never paid her much attention. I mean, pretty much I just know that she exists. That's it. I mean, but yeah, her music, I've never listened to it. I couldn't even tell you a name of her album.
Sir, I cannot with the I know she exists.
That's what I'm saying. I thought what I said was bad.
It was so nonchalant.
You know what?
I know she exists. She breathing, right? But like I can't.
Oh my goodness!
I am so done right now.
This just brought me back to the whole Batman and Superman thing. Yeah. It brought me back to the whole Batman and Superman thing. The whole Justice League thing. It just popped back in my head all over again.
How nonchalant he was, E-Man. It was so, it was real coming from PAT, right?
Damn.
He was legit serious. Oh my goodness. Okay, so go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry, man. Yeah.
No, that's all good. But no, real talk. I mean, that's just, how I look at it. Like I've heard the name. I've seen her before. I know she exists. That's pretty much what it is. I just know that she's around, but I never actually listened to her music. I never put any type of energy, any type of no time, no energy, nothing into even, attempting to even listen to her stuff, so, and I'm not no shade like that.
That's why it's so funny because it's not any shade because we know you're telling the truth. Yeah. That's why it's so funny. Okay, I'm sorry.
No, you're good. It's funny. But
before you continue, PAT, I just Iggy, just to put it out there, girl, you're not doing a good job. So, and this is coming from one of the best rappers I know that's out here in the DC metro area. So, girl. So what I said wasn't even that harsh, but coming from him, girl, you need to reevaluate your whole life now.
Damn, bro.
I'm sorry.
Crucial tonight, bro. Y'all crucial. I'm sorry. Go ahead, PAT.
This is why we're the good, the bad, and the truth. We go all the way in. No fucks are given. That's just how we do. But yeah, like I said before, no shade to her. That it's just me being real. But so when I looked up Iggy Azalea, something that really stuck out to me was this sentence about her. And the sentence was, quote, Australian rapper who infiltrated the Southern hip hop scene with her crossover hits in the 2010s, end quote. And I'm not joking. That's what the sentence says. When you look her up on Yahoo, that is what pops up in the search engine. And it's a sentence from Wikipedia. I just thought that was interesting because the keyword, at least the keyword for me that just really stuck out was infiltrated. And I see that honestly as the perfect word. I see that as the perfect word, infiltration, because that is what culture vultures do. They infiltrate. Basically, they're colonizers. They take a culture, chew up the meat, and spit out the bones, and have no disregard for what they ate afterwards. They ate something that was pretty much full of life. They ate something that was fruitful, but they ate, spit out the bones, and left the table. That's what a culture vulture is, cultural appropriation, whatever we want to say. So when it comes to culture vulture, cultural appropriation, same thing. I actually called out the culture vultures and spoke about cultural appropriation in an article on my website called Top 5 Traits of a Culture Vulture and Why Black People Need to Move On. The article is on my website, thepatchannel.com. I would encourage people to go there and read it. The fact is, we all take part in different cultures, all of us, everybody, every race, everybody on the planet. We all take part in different cultures. All right, cool. Everyone takes from different cultures. We all eat foods from different cultures. We listen to music from different cultures. We all extrapolate from various cultures and apply it to our own lives in some way or another. So I don't think there is anything wrong with that. It's really part of what makes the world what it is. However, when we look at the history of colonization, we know that there are people who have colonized different countries and continents throughout the globe. They took from the original people and made it their own. I mean, let's be real. The European has a history of colonizing. They have a history of invading other people's land, committing genocide, and enslaving the indigenous people of said land, and then making said land their own. Even if they don't outright colonize and take the land for good and make it their own, there is neo-colonization. In other words, colonizing indirectly through the use of economics, imperialism, and politics. So instead of using a direct approach, like, for example, military force, a more indirect approach is used. Now, people hear me say these things, and they've heard things I've said in the past in regards to white supremacy, and they think I don't like white people or that I'm always pulling some race card. First of all, let me just say this. I don't have an issue with white people. Let me just put that out there.
I don't either. So.
I don't have an issue with white people. If I have an issue, it is with the system of racism, white supremacy. That's what I have an issue with. I have an issue with the system of racism / white supremacy. So when myself and other people speak on racism or white supremacy, we speak on the system and the people who perpetuate that system. This is just one of the harsh realities of the world that we live in. And in order to fight against it and make the world a better place, we can't be afraid to speak on it. The days are over where Black people are going to be cowardly and not confront this problem head on. This is a problem that gets bigger and bigger day in and day out. Racism can't be ignored out of existence. That's just the reality. Racism can't be ignored out of existence. So to get back to the cultural appropriation is problematic due to the history of colonization. Cultural appropriation is I'm gonna just call it a soft colonizing. It's a soft colonizing. When we mention the European and their history of colonization, cultural appropriation becomes a concern because whatever Black people create gets stolen, and then whatever is stolen becomes the property of the European. Soon enough, we get revisionist history, and people eventually believe that certain aspects of a culture originated with the European. This is why I think the Chet Hanks, the Michael Rappaports, the Justin Timberlakes, and others like them can be a problem. And I mean, we can throw Iggy Azalea in the mix because she has been called out for cultural appropriating many times, actually. When I looked her up, there was actually quite a few articles about her being accused of cultural appropriation. Now, the system of white supremacy would love nothing more than to 100% just hijack hip hop and R&B and make it so those genres of music are represented by the white faces in it. This isn't to say that white people can't partake in Black culture, but there has to be serious acknowledgement and respect for the culture, and most importantly, the people of that culture. The fact is, some of the bozos that get involved in anything Black cultural related are racist. These people don't actually give a fuck about Black people. Let's just keep it all the way 100. They do not give a fuck about Black people. What they do is they siphon whatever they can from Black culture and then hop back over the fence and get back into white society. Meanwhile, Black people in the real world suffer from a society that is socially engineered to not only be hostile towards Black people, but also keep Black people as a group on the bottom. Our way of life gets taken, and the powers that be make a killing, literally and figuratively. They make a killing. They make a profit through business and industry and chew up and spit out the people whose talents and skills are used to empower said business and industry. Once again, this is chewing up the meat and spitting out the bones, just like a vulture, because that's what vultures do. Anyone can be accused of cultural appropriation. However, let's say an African person who cultural appropriates from Italians, for example, are in no position to colonize Italian culture and make it their own. There is no culture that we can take from and make our own and then be able to position ourselves to profit from and then indoctrinate the masses with revisionist history. So with all of that being said, it can be seen as more offensive when a white person engages in cultural appropriation. Look at the time when Kim Kardashian had Fulani braids. I think, hopefully I'm saying it right, Fulani braids, and she was praised for it.
Dear goodness, I remember that.
Yeah, I remember that. And I mean that's cool and all, but African women were ridiculed for that, plus other hairstyles that are originally from African culture. To this day, a Black woman's hair is still seen as a problem in some work environments in some states. Yet, when other
locks too, that it also include locks too.
Right, locks, all that. It's for Black women, it's problematic. Yet, when other women adopt those hairstyles, they are praised and even seen as exotic. So in that regard, it's not hard for me to see why cultural appropriation is a problem. Now, I will say this. I do think Black people have been part of the problem in some aspects. And I say that because, unfortunately, we've allowed other people to partake in our culture without requiring more out of them. You know, we're quick to invite people to these imaginary cookouts over small gestures that seem to be in favor of Black people.
Stop it.
Right. Stop it. We already talked about these fucking imaginary cookouts. Stop it. I'm gonna just say that. But yeah, you know, Black people, we don't gatekeep hard enough. We don't vet people hard enough. And unfortunately, we don't have a firm grip. We don't have a firm control on our culture economically. Really, we should be owning the music industry. We should be owning the hair care industry. We should be owning the clothing industry. But the reality is we don't. At best, all we do is bring our talent and our Black skin to the table. But we don't actually own and control the industries that make a profit and empower other groups with our creations. So with somebody like a Iggy Azalea, Iggy Azalea is just a symptom of the problem. The same with some of the other white entertainers that I mentioned. They didn't cause the problem, but they are a symptom of the problem. Iggy Azalea is yet another one who has just highlighted the problem. Like I said before, I don't follow her at all, but this whole Blackfish controversy sounds like some Rachael Dolezal type shit. Iggy Azalea isn't the first and won't be the last to highlight how problematic cultural appropriation is. And those are my thoughts on that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you for sharing. And you definitely hit on some great points. A lot of that I am going to agree with you with, because this subject is actually very important to me. As a Black woman in this country, I definitely feel like it's important that I speak up about all the different variances of criticisms that we can receive or go through at any given time, and how nauseating it actually can be. And the significance of that is that for the longest time, as you so rightfully mentioned, Pat, and even still today, with, you know, the appropriate hairstyles that are allowed in the office. For example, locks, as you so rightfully mentioned, E-Man. The Black woman is constantly being scrutinized about what we wear, about how we act, about our general being. India.Arie made a song titled I Am Not My Hair. And for those of us who are fans of India, that's a damn good dope song, by the way. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And for those of us who are fans of India, or for those of you who haven't, you know, gotten a chance to look into her, please do so. But, you know, the premise of the song is that who I am as an individual is not necessarily represented in my appearance. Yet when a Black woman wears her hair straight, whether it's her natural hair or whether it's a wig or whether it's extensions, she is judged for trying to perpetuate European appearances. When Black women put on eyelashes, and I'm not talking about those ridiculous ones that are shaped like a fucking squirrel's tail, but just in general, just that actually impose on your sight. Come on, ladies, you know, not just Black women, but ladies in general, stop that. But, you know, it doesn't matter. Eyelashes, wigs, extensions, etc. We are judged for it. We are judged harshly for it.
That is really true. Yeah. But I'm sorry to cut you off now.
No, you're fine.
But when I found out what women are paying for lashes, y'all need to reevaluate that. Because well, I didn't think this shit was a huge business, but the money I heard that was dropped on lashes, y'all need to go reevaluate yourself.
Well, in all fairness, it's a range. It's a range.
It's a range, but
well, just like anything, though, it's a range, right? If you are able to do it yourself at home, it's not a particularly expensive thing. You can buy a pair of eyelashes for less than $5 and apply them yourself at home. Or you can go into a salon and pay for a service, and they're going to seriously tax you depending on the type of salon. So there is a range for it, just like other, you know, beauty staples in our community. But yes, there are some people who pay ridiculous amounts for it. But I mean, again, that's necessarily in the eye of the beholder, right? What's ridiculous to one could be, you know, reasonable to another. But no, in general, I was saying all of that to say it amazes me how when a white woman is perpetuating an appearance that is typically associated to a Black woman. It is glorified and it is amplified as something great to a very high extent. Just like the example that Pat gave. Kim Kardashian and even her sister, Kylie, have been known to wear hairstyles that are cornrows or braids or etc. that are typically tied to Black women and have been praised as such. But not just them, other women of other cultures. Mm-hmm. And then when a Black woman does it, she is instead criticized. And our appearance is always in some form of discussion amongst people outside of Black women. For example, Juliana Rancic, who made the comment about Zendaya when Zendaya was sporting a hairstyle that was called faux locks. And she made the comment that she looked like she smelled of weed and patchouli oil.
What?
Yeah, this was
time out. Y'all need to leave Zendaya alone. Y'all need to leave that little girl alone. That little girl has been doing all the right things.
Wait a minute, you all didn't hear that story, really?
Hell no, because if I would have heard it, I would have slapped the shit out of her for saying some shit like that.
I didn't hear that.
This happened.
I'm sorry.
This actually happened, I want to say, a few years ago. I'm not exactly sure when it occurred, but I think it was sometime like last year. No, it was a few years ago. Hold on, let me bring it up. But Juliana Rancic, she was famous for being on the show E.T. or etc., made a comment. I think actually it was in 2015, because she had a show called Fashion Police, and she was actually on that show with like Joan Rivers and a few other people, right? And Zendaya on one of the award shows had her hair in a faux locks hairstyle. So that's like a fake version of dreadlocks that is entered into the head with extensions and etc. And Juliana Rancic made the comment, and she also threw up the peace sign at the same time, and she was like, she looks like she smells of patchouli oil or weed. And it was very, very offensive, to say the least. Twitter went crazy. People went crazy. Zendaya herself called her out on it. But the point is, like, when white women do these things, oh, they look bohemian, they look chic, they look this. When Black women do these things, oh, they look like they smell like patchouli oil or weed. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And Iggy Azalea has made claims that she was not trying to perpetuate Black culture, or rather, she was not trying to Blackfish. But you couldn't even recognize her in that video if you did not know that it was her video. So in other words, if the title of that video and her name wasn't there, you could not even recognize that that was Iggy Azalea. She had a deep tan. She had a long black wig on as opposed to her natural blonde hair and etc. And I mean, she just had features that were deeply tied to what are considered Black women features. And to imply that she wasn't intending to Blackfish is bullshit.
Bullshit.
Not only that, but she actually goes out of her way to have this nonchalant attitude about it. So recently on Twitter, I think it was Saturday, One of her fans wrote, "People are saying that you are blackfishing and making up these fake narratives. Can you clear them up, please? Because people are taking it too far and running with the lie." A fan tweeted on Saturday. Iggy's response was, "I don't care. Fuck those people, babe." Laugh out loud. So didn't even take the time to say, "No, I would never do that. I would never try to blackfish, or I would never try to culturally appropriate or anything like that." Didn't even give a fuck enough to try to deter those rumors. She was just nonchalant about the whole situation. You know why? Because white women have the ability to be that way, because they're not constantly judged about it the way that Black women are about every single thing that we do. And it's ridiculous and it's bullshit. To make matters worse, her nonchalant attitude on the matter. Who the fuck are you, bro? You're not even a good rap artist. Your music is Black at best. I wholeheartedly believe that she is only a hip hop artist because she was a somewhat thick white girl with an accent. I'm just calling that out there.
Remember, she has a booty too, so that adds a little bit more so on it.
Yeah, too. That's my point. Yep, you're exactly right. Yeah, I agree with you. She has a little booty. She's a somewhat thick white girl. That is my belief for why she is even in the rap game whatsoever. Because unless someone gonna play for me a whole bunch of tapes that I mix tapes and videos and etc., where Iggy is just displaying all her bars, they can kick rocks with that bullshit.
Remember, Madonna was also a groupie, also too. Just saying it. Mm-hmm. So yeah.
Yeah. So for our specific question, does Iggy Azalea's presence in hip hop shed light on how problematic cultural appropriation really is? Yes, it does. Is it the first example? No. But it definitely sheds light on how problematic it really is. Because at this point, they have gotten so comfortable with it, they don't even feel the need to answer to it when they're questioned about it. That's a problem. That's a problem. It's not enough that we have to deal with as a culture the general lack of respect for who we are as a people, because Black is just not African narratives or Jamaican narratives or Caribbean narratives or, even, Native Americans for those who associate with being Black or etc. It's not just those narratives. It's a state of being, of human being. The Black woman is ridiculed so often and at any given time about anything. To have a white woman completely comfortable with culturally appropriating our naturally given figures that we are constantly judged on, and then having the gall and audacity to not even feel like she should address it when we are offended by it, is absolutely unfucking acceptable. It's unacceptable. We face way too much in this country to let this shit slide. Iggy, I am calling you out. This is straight from Naya Angel. I am calling you out. You owe us a fucking answer. It is one thing to change up your look for video to say, hey, this was the theme of my video. You look as if you had some kind of Rachael Dolezal moment and decided that you were a Black woman for that video. And I'm sorry, honey, but it's really convenient to be Black and thick for a video, but not have to deal with half the shit we face in this country. So you want to use our features when it's convenient to you, but you don't want to deal with what it actually takes to be a Black woman in this nation, to support a Black man through all their hardships, to support being responsible for the community and everything that's wrong with it in certain people's eyes, to have to fight every fucking day for rights that are easily given to white women and women of other cultures. to never be seen by as exotic or beautiful by some men in and out of our culture, to constantly have to wake up and remind yourself that you are beautiful just in case no one else says it to you that day. And then don't even get me started on the colorism aspect of it. Why do you think songs like Brown Skin Girl by Beyonce exist? Because the Black woman faces so much in this country. For you to be so nonchalant about the fact that you are clearly fucking blackfishing doesn't work for me, bruh. You owe me an explanation because I asked for one, because I've earned the right to have one from you. Get the fuck out of these videos trying to look like us when you can't walk half a mile in our shoes. Woo. It's that simple.
I definitely agree. I definitely agree.
Woo,
yeah. I love it though.
Now you came with the flames.
Yeah, she definitely came with the flames. But yeah, I just want to just say and whatnot, just so that everyone knows that I don't hate white women and whatnot. Yes, I would put my hands on a white booty, just saying and whatnot.
I don't either. I have very many, that's a very good point. I'm glad you mentioned that, E-Man. I have very many friends who are white women. Let me make this clear. Mm-hmm. I have friends of all races, creed, cultures, ethnicities. I have close friends who are white women, who are white males, etc. This is not about disliking white women for me in any way. This is about disliking the fact that Iggy Azalea doesn't see the issue in what she has done.
Agreed.
And that she has the audacity to feel like she doesn't owe it an explanation. Agreed. How dare you?
So, Iggy, if we don't even get out an explanation, yes, like I've already said, you, Taylor Swift, country, and country singer, all right? Because if you're not going to give us an explanation, it's time for you to think about being a country singer. That's
she's
the goal.
Even good at that, do we know that she can sing? I mean, I'm not trying to down another woman in this industry. I understand that this is not an easy industry for women in general, but that is why she had the opportunity to show a certain amount of humility here that she just clearly doesn't have. I mean, how dare you?
Yeah, I feel you. I feel you 100% on that. And just to add something real quick. See, the thing is with somebody like a Iggy Azalea, they're not gonna feel that they need to be held accountable. The reason why is the industry is not ran by Black people. I mean, there's a lot of Black people in the music industry, but let's keep it all the way real. Black people do not run the music industry.
No, they do not.
They are not the major
preach.
They're not the major bosses. They,
That's true.
They don't own it. They don't own the industry. They don't run it. They're just in it. And there's a lot of.
I don't want anybody to say anything about L.A. Reid that he owns something. He don't own none of the damn.
They own the name, but they own names and independent labels and all this other shit. But they don't own major labels. They don't own major record labels. So an Iggy Azalea or any white rapper or white R&B singer or whoever that gets involved in the music industry and they're partaking in Black culture, they're not going to feel the need to even explain themselves or owe an explanation or to be accountable, because they already know who signs the paperwork. They know who runs it, and they know it's not Black people. So they don't feel the need to answer to Black people. People like them could come in and they could cultural appropriate, and, they know that they're going to be accepted on some level, because the thing is, some Black people are fans of these people too. So there are Black people who eat this shit up. Come on now. Iggy Azalea has Black fans. She has Black female fans. She damn sure has some Black male fans, because you already know there's niggas out there that see a white woman with a fat ass and they go crazy basically. So
I agree.
There's that.
I agree.
So,
but I would slap it, but I wouldn't sleep with it.
I just cannot with you.
I'm just saying. I'm just putting it out there.
but Yeah, real talk though. So yeah, you know, niggas is just bamboozled off of a thick white woman. So like they,
Agreed.
you know, there's not going to be any accountability there really because, you know, she knows it too. She knows who she is, what she looks like, who's checking her out, you know, what men she could pull, you know, so she's not going to answer to black people really. You know, she's going to be accused of cultural appropriation many times over. She's already been accused of cultural appropriation. And from the responses I've seen, they've really just been like, yeah, you know, people have their own opinion, but I'm doing my thing. You know,
I mean, she did date Nick Young and whatnot. And look how that turned out.
Mm-hmm. I don't know the story of their relationship, but yes, you're correct.
I don't know about that. But just to wrap up what I was saying, so yeah, she, you know, whether it's Iggy Azalea or any other white performer, white artist, white entertainer that is involved in black culture, they don't feel the need to answer to black people when it comes to cultural appropriation. You know, that's just, unfortunately, that's just the reality of it. Until black people start really owning the music industry and really, you know, signing the paperwork and signing the checks and really just really running it. Just having, you know, ownership of major labels, owning the industry, that, you know, maybe that's when things will change, when you know, some of the white entertainers, white artists might feel a little bit more accountable. But the reality is they're not going to. And, you know, this isn't a shot at white artists in general who are involved in black culture or black entertainment, however we want to frame it, because there are some who, you know, they do their thing, they're talented, they at least show that they give a fuck about the culture, and, you know, there's a certain level of respect there. You know, there are some white artists who do their thing. I'm a fan of some of them, so, you know, it's not even shade towards just white artists overall, but the fact of the matter is some of these folks are culture vultures. And, you know, they need to be called out on it. So that's that.
No, that was very good points. And I can tell you what, I agree with you, but I'm going to tell you this. They don't have to, they can feel like they don't have to answer if they want to. That ain't going to stop me from calling your bitch ass out every time.
Absolutely.
No matter who
Absolutely.
you are.
We still going to call them out, but yeah, we still going to call them out.
Yeah, no, you made very good points, and I totally agree with you. But just like I threw that straight at Iggy, I will throw that straight at everyone who needs to hear it anytime they need to. Because the important part of seeing change and making the change that you want to see is taking action. And if everyone sits quiet and idly by, you can't expect to actually see that change come to fruition. And I'm going to tell you like this, she don't have enough talent to be as cocky as she is as far as being a rapper is concerned. I'm sorry. It's straight facts like that. And you know what? I want you to prove me wrong. I want to see you successful because I love the idea of women in the hip hop community being successful. I love hip hop in general, but we all know that it is definitely a lot more difficult for women than it is than men in the hip hop culture and in the hip hop industry. So I would love to see a woman shine, but I haven't seen any evidence of any so-called talents in Iggy Azalea. Somebody gonna have to point me in the right direction if I'm mistaken, because I don't know about y'all, but I ain't heard one single damn set of bars where I was like, oh my God, what was that? I'm not impressed. Is that simple?
Zero bars.
I haven't heard it either.
Zero bars, sir.
Zero bars.
And I feel like at this point in time, like if she was really nice like that, if she really is nice like that, I would have heard dudes say, yo, this white chick is nasty. Yeah. Like this white chick fucking spits. You know, I would have heard something.
Exactly.
Spits what? All she can do is spit her cheeks in her left hand and her right hand. That's it.
Listen, Listen, you know there are females out there who are dope ass lyricists, right?
Absolutely.
Like, and I'm talking about like sometimes they're famous, sometimes they're not. Lady Luck, MC Light, some of the classics, and then you got your Remy Mons and your Kims and etc. Even some feel that Nicki Minaj is. I don't feel that Iggy Azalea is on any of their levels. Not even anywhere near close. Fuck, I don't feel like she's on anybody who's out level right now, to be honest with you. And I don't even know all of these chicks out, but she damn sure ain't like on no Cardi or Nicki or any of their levels, in my opinion.
What about Young M.A. though?
Young M, definitely not on Young M.A.'s level. Young M.A. is, in my opinion, is high above most female rappers out right now. If you really listen to her freestyles and stuff, because I am not the typical hip hop fan, right? Like if it's on the radio, the chances are I haven't heard it. When I'm interested in an artist, it's because I have sought out their music. I have actually listened to mixtapes or their entire album and etc. I rarely hear radio releases because I don't like the radio. So from my understanding and perception, she damn sure ain't nowhere near no Young M.A. because Young M.A. actually has bars. She is lyrical. She has freestyles and etc. where she is going off the top, and that shit is magical. That she and Iggy is nowhere near that, in my opinion. Yeah, so
I'm just saying because I've heard a lot about Young M.A. and I listened to one song. She was definitely dope.
She's got bars. She's got bars.
Yeah, she definitely has bars. I've heard some shit from her. She got bars.
Absolutely.